The thing that gets me about the anti-trans conservative rhetoric around like puberty blockers for trans kids is that if they really did care about making sure children weren't being mutilated or weren't being like coerced, they would be the number one advocates for puberty blockers. No.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. First, I want to thank everybody for subscribing and watching all the stuff I'm putting up here. My channel is growing, and it's all because of you. So I just want to say that first off. Secondly, today I'm going to do another reaction video, and I want to do this reaction video specifically about this idea of trans kids. And one of the reasons why I want to do this reaction is because I'm trying to figure out my reaction videos to sort of go along with what I feel is important to talk about in regards to the trans community. And one of the things, as you know, that I have really feel very attached to is this idea that trans kids exist, and I don't believe that. And I also am very upset about how people are putting out completely, total, 100% nonsensical information about what a trans kid is, medication, supporting, all of this stuff. And these people have huge, huge platforms, so they reach a lot of young people. And I do believe they are on some level indoctrinating these kids into thinking they are transgender when they're not. So how I know that, I'll let you know real quick here. Detransitioners. So there, I put that out there. So today, that's what I'm going to be doing, reacting to these videos. Really appreciate you all. Again, remember, like, subscribe if you really want to see more of this content. It really helps me to grow this channel. So here's the first one I'm going to react to. I think this person's name is James. I'm not really sure, and I don't really care. But this person is all over the internet spreading misinformation about trans kids. And this one caught my eye because I find it to be really... Oh my God. Anyway, let's move forward and watch this one, and then I'll react to it afterward. Okay, so here we go.
The thing that gets me about the anti-trans conservative rhetoric around like puberty blockers for trans kids is that if they really did care about making sure children weren't being mutilated or weren't being like coerced, they would be the number one advocates for puberty blockers, not only because they're empirically supported and because they were developed for cisgender people, but because they would realize that forcing somebody to go through a puberty with a dominant hormone that is misaligned with your actual gender, that would be, by their terms, mutilation. Because imagine if we sat a bunch of 13-year-old cisgender boys around and we were like, hey boys, we know that you're boys. And we know that you've been boys as long as you've been alive, and it's very clear to us that you are boys, but we just want to be so sure. So we're actually going to make you go through estrogen-based puberty instead. So that way, like, when you get to the end of that road and you're 18, you can decide if you still wanted to be that boy that you know, always showed signs that you were. Can you imagine if we did that? That would be fucked up. But that's literally what you are doing to trans kids, because forcing somebody to go through a puberty with a dominant hormone that is misaligned with your actual gender is a forced mutilation by conservative standards. So you would think that they would be the number one advocates for blockers and go, oh my gosh, yeah, why don't we like put a pause on this so that way you can decide and like in a couple of years see how you feel. Like, I just wish they would shut up.
Oh my God, every single thing that came out of this person's mouth is so gaslighty and so wrong. I feel sorry for parents. I actually do. I feel sorry for everyone who's listening to this person who thinks this person knows what they're talking about. First off, why would you think this person knows what they're talking about? They're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I told you, I'll give you any factual stat information, links that you need. Just ask that person for links and stats. Do they even offer it? Never do they offer it. So there's that. So here, let me just say this about this person. You don't pause puberty. That's actually impossible. You are that's why it's called puberty blockers, my friend, not pausers. You can't pause it. You need it. It's important. Number two, why does everything always have to be the conservatives or right wing? I'm not conservative. I'm not right wing. I am liberal in my heart. And I'm 100% against touching children. You are talking about children. Number three, they have stopped giving this actual medication to everyone in every other country in the world except the United States. Why do you think that is? There's a reason why they're doing that. It doesn't work. It actually wreaks havoc on these young people's bodies. You cannot medicalize a child. They do not understand the consequences. They do not understand what they're actually getting themselves into. You as an adult might think so because you're an adult and you can make those choices. But for you to even say a child can make this is so absurd. You're using your own trauma is what you're doing. You're using your own trauma to think these kids need what you need, which is so insane. Everybody is an individual. Everybody walks different paths. Everybody transitions possibly for a different reason. Though I do believe you need to have gender dysphoria. A kid cannot understand his dysphoria or her dysphoria if they're not going through puberty and understanding the growth of their body and how come they dislike it. And you're not even giving them a chance. You're not giving them a fighting chance. Okay? So this stuff destroys people's bodies. What do you think it's going to do to a young child's body? What about the long-term effects? Are you going to be responsible for that, James? Are you? No, you're not. So this is why I want to react to these videos, because these people are putting out actually false information and pretending like they're doing all of us a favor. This second one we're going to react to is a person who is all over the internet, has a huge following, tends to talk to the kids, which I noticed while looking for some of these things. This person stopped saying, "Hey kids." And I think that's because people really got all over this person and they realized possibly what they're doing. I don't know. This person gives me a little bit of bad vibes. I don't trust them. They don't seem genuine. They seem very narcissistic and they seem like they think they know it all. There's some edge to this person that always makes me not feel comfortable. So this person really pushes, again, another one who really pushes this stuff about trans kids. Okay, here we go.
Do you know why they always target trans kids? It's because trans kids have no power. They can't fight back.
Wow.
That's number one. But they also always target trans kids so that trans kids have no support to become trans adults.
What?
Not to get too TW, but I almost was not here.
Oh my God.
Several times.
Wow,
myself. Dude. We have to lift up and love trans kids.
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. First off, we don't have to lift up and love trans kids. We need to lift up and love kids. Wow, Jeffrey, really? First off, how do you even know what a trans kid is? This is the thing that bothers me, this label of trans kids. You're shoving these kids into a space. You, of all people, Jeffrey, who I've watched throughout the years, change your identity, okay? So you, of all people, should understand, you, as an adult, changed your identity so many times. Yet here you are telling a kid who possibly doesn't even understand the alphabet that they're going to be trans and that they should do this and we need to love them. We need to love all kids and we need to let kids know they're okay. If they're struggling with something, we have to try to get them out of that struggle. When you transition a child and you put them in, you are actually putting them into dysphoria for their whole life. You're not even giving them a chance to figure out who and what I am, because you as an adult, I'm talking to all you adults out there who have this desire to transition children, which makes zero sense to me. If you are actually trans, you would not want this to happen. You would want these kids to grow out of what this is. Because this isn't fun and games. This is a lifelong space of medicalization, surgery, always knowing that you're different. I mean, there's layers upon layers of this. So give kids love, not medicine. That's just insane. And it feels so much like it's an agenda of your own traumatic past or whatever is going on with you. Okay, here we go. This one, who we all know, you'll know when I bring this one up. This one also has a huge platform and is just pushing so much about kids. This person transitioned last week, okay? And there are like millions of followers because they're doing that game. So here we go.
When a kid tells you that they're transgender, believe them. A lot of people will say that it's impossible for a 4-year-old to know if they're trans or not, but actually that's not true. They can know, and here's why. From day one, gender is baked into everything we do. You either have a boy name or a girl name. boy toys or girl toys, boy clothes or girl clothes. So from an early age, kids understand the difference between boy and girl, and more importantly, which one they're expected to be. So it makes sense that if what they feel inside is different than what they're expected to be, that they might feel uncomfortable. And they might want to talk about that discomfort. And we all know that kids are good at talking about how they feel. For example, mommy, I skinned my knee. Mommy, someone called me a name on the playground. Or even, mommy, I don't like wearing boy clothes. These are all similar feelings of discomfort that we can talk about to our parents. That's not to say that all kids will realize they're transgender when they're little. A lot don't. I didn't until I was 27, but I can't tell you how many people I've met that knew they were trans at 4 or 5 years old. So if there's a kid in your life who's telling you they're trans, please believe them. They know what they're talking about, and your support might save their life.
Oh my God, this person is so irritating. 4 or 5? Literally 4 or 5. Are you insane? That's child abuse, by the way. This person, number one, just transitioned. They just said it. And they would have transitioned when they were a kid. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. That's the other thing that's really upsetting to me, but with these adult trans people saying, I would have transitioned when I was a kid. No, you wouldn't. No, you would not. I do not believe that. That is actually not true. So you would not have known you were trans unless you grew up and understood you were trans. You're all just proving it to me. But for some reason, I don't understand. Let me tell all of you out there, including your parents, don't you believe a child who says they're trans. First of all, let me just give you this little tidbit here. I never said I was trans. I said I feel like a boy or I feel like a girl. That's what a transsexual does. A transsexual doesn't say I feel trans. So if your child is saying I feel trans, that's a red flag. That is an actual red flag. That means they're being told to say this. It doesn't mean it's a dysphoric feeling. A dysphoric person feels like a man or a woman or a boy or a girl. That's what transsexualism is. This stuff you're seeing today is indoctrination into an actual agenda, into a thought process. And all these weirdos want to do is get your kids. And when I see these huge influencers just talking about how trans kids are a thing, and most of these people, except Jeffrey, who's been around forever, who hasn't medically transitioned, if you notice that as well, okay? 2 of those people have not medically transitioned, yet here they are pushing medicine on children. The third one, I don't know what's going on with that one. But 3 adults who transitioned as adults are pushing trans medicine onto young people. I beg of you out there, listen. You've got to listen to the other sides of the story and people who are older and who have done this and understand the pros and the cons more than anyone who's done it in a year. And this is so important that you understand. These people are just influencers. They do not care about facts. They do not care about anything other than themselves. I don't care what an adult does, but you've got to get your hands off of these children. It's sick, it's wrong, and these kids need to grow up and figure it out on their own without some adult pushing them into the van with no windows, with the cherry. You know what I'm talking about? Well, thanks for watching. I super appreciate you all so much. If you're liking these reaction videos and you like what I'm doing, please follow me. Please comment on my videos and like them and send them to somebody who might, send this to a parent who might really be struggling with what's going on with their kids, because we've got to get this out. We've got to stop doing this to children. We've got to. It's going to be a mess, and who's going to clean it up? So thanks again, you guys. Super love you all, and thank you so much for always watching and really supporting what I'm doing here and trying to get us back into some sense of normalcy. Oh my God, help me. I'll see you guys on the next one.